Let's check in with Joseph Lindsley in Ukraine. The word from Russia, Vladimir Putin made his biggest security shakeup in over a decade. He has removed his defense minister. That person was in the role since 2012. Let's see what Joseph Lindsley thinks about that as we go to Ukraine today. Hello, Joe.
Joe. Little Joe Lindsley.
Joe Lindsley is quickly becoming an American treasure in broadcasting.
Welcome to Ukraine.
Bob, good afternoon from Lviv. We are currently under a nationwide air alarm. We've had several of these today as very difficult fighting continues in Kharkiv region when the Russians have made this incursion these past several days. And regarding the shakeup in the Kremlin, as always, it's difficult to know, how much of this is, actual changes, how much of it is meant to distract or to confuse the rest of the world. Russians are very good at their propaganda efforts. And so when I've spoken with people throughout Ukraine the past days about this, it's really hard for me to get a sense of what this means. So I don't want to pontificate on it because it's really unclear to me. I mean, there's some speculating, that this could be a sign that there's a lot of problems within the Kremlin and unrest. But we just don't have any good indication of that at this point. But I think it's something we need to just to calmly pay attention to. Meanwhile, speaking of sort of theatrics from Russia, on yesterday on Sunday, there was a major explosion in the Russian city of Belgorod, and that's a city it's the closest city to the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, and it's from that region and that city that the Russians have so often attacked Kharkiv city. And in the early hours, yesterday morning, an apartment building, there was an explosion, and the Russians were claiming that it was a Ukrainian missile that hit this residential building. People were killed and injured. But then as you begin to see the videos of it, the explosion clearly came from below, from within the building. And there was a scene of rescuers who were there in the scene, and the roof was still intact because the whatever happened came from below. But while people were rescuing, the roof collapsed. And so everyone is saying, well, what, was this an accident by Russia? But it looks like, it might have been a planted event. And, there is a history of Putin doing this. I mean, going back in 1999, right before Putin came to power, in an apartment building outside of Moscow, there was an explosion there. And the Russians blamed it on Chechen terrorists. And then right after that, they began the Second Chechen War, which successfully subjugated that Muslim Chechen region of Russia to the Central Authority. And since then, the Chechens have become, once the sort of the free people amongst the Chechens were were subjugated, they've become some of the most bloodthirsty fighters on behalf of the Kremlin. And so most observers would say that 1999, that building exploding was a setup by the Kremlin. And so there's a lot of speculation that this could be the same with the situation in Belgorod. And I think the other, meanwhile, we have to report that, the Russians have taken territory in villages and in forests just north of Kharkiv city. The fighting is intense, and so many people I know in Kharkiv spent their weekend going to evacuate humans and animals from these villages. And the reports that we hear are that when the Russians, the stuff we heard in 2022, when the Russians invade a village, they're absolutely brutal. They just go into civilian houses, they chop people's fingers off, they rape and they pillage. We're starting to get more and more evidence and reports of this as people get evacuated to Kharkiv. And amid all this, I was talking, I mentioned a while ago to you all that the Catholic Church, one of the few Catholic churches there in Kharkiv City, with Pastor Mikola, the priest who's in charge of it, they can see basically Russia on the horizon. And the past nights, not only that church, but so many people in Kharkiv have seen and heard the fighting. It's that close to the city, just about 18 miles from the edge. And today is also, it's May 13th is a feast of Our Lady of Fatima, which is a major pilgrimage for Catholics, especially in Europe. And that priest in Kharkiv reminded me when I was there several weeks ago, and we were having breakfast in the parish hall with the neighbors, while bombs were falling on the church's neighborhood. That he was talking about in 1917, those 3 kids from Portugal said they saw the Virgin Mary, and she wanted, and according to the kids, she wanted them to take a message to the Pope to pray for the conversion of Russia, and that Russia was controlled by demons, and that's right before the Bolshevik Revolution. And so this priest in Kharkiv reminded me today that today is the day that commemorates that, whatever people want to believe about it. But people here do see this as a battle of good versus evil, especially right now in Kharkiv.
You got to believe. According to a European military intelligence official, the next couple of months or so will be crucial for whether Russia's Air Force can be held at bay before the new Western air defense supplies get to Ukraine. How worried are you and the people there, Joe?
Everyone is sort of trying to be strong, but there's a lot, especially the situation in Kharkiv. The whole country is watching and paying attention. There's a lot of hope that these F-16s could get here soon. It's been such a long time, but there's really a sense that this stuff's got to arrive quick. There was a unit that we were trying to help and supply, and that supply order was canceled because it seems that those guys are not there to receive the help. That's how dire and serious it is right now.
Well, hope things get better. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you for introducing Ukraine on your social media pages. That's very important that much more people can get more information about the situation here and how everybody can help Ukraine to stay stronger and to save all the world.
Что он сказал?
Well, which side are you on? На чьей ты стороне? Come on now. Oh, which side are you on? На чьей ты стороне?